What was the angriest you've seen a student get at a teacher? Friend in high school drafting class spent an entire weekend on a drawing after teacher said there was no such thing as a perfect drawing. Friend brought his drawing in and the teacher put it on his drafting table and scrutinized it closely for several minutes, even taking out a magnifying glass. Finally, the teacher took out a red marker, smiled at my friend, and circled a corner that has literally a 1128 overdraw, and that red marker circle was about 6 loops and 6 inches round. My friend turned beet red and was seething rage, walking back to his desk shaking in anger. When he got to his desk, he looked at his drawing, looked at the teacher, then looked at the drawing again, and then screamed, "Brunk, you're a dick." The classroom went dead silent. Believe it or not, nothing happened to him because even the teacher had to admit it was a dick move. Me getting mad at my teacher back in elementary school. We used to do these timed multiplication tests, and I've always been bad at math. The day we did the test for multiples of 2, I got them all right because that's easy, and the teachers were convinced I cheated off of someone else. Sent me to the office and called my parents and everything. I was so proud of myself for actually being able to complete the test only for that to happen. I was so upset and frustrated lol. I didn't see this specifically, but in middle school a kid I was sort of friends with was sent to in-school detention by a teacher. As soon as the day was over, the kid raced up to the classroom and punched the teacher, breaking his nose. I had one of my professors fail a kid on a test because he was too similar to the textbook for his short answer question, except it was an open book test. Mind you, he didn't just give him the problem wrong, he failed him for the whole test and wanted to go after him for cheating. Me in high school the last year, we had this substitute science teacher that would say absolutely terrible things in class, from personal stories of her attempting coat hanger abortions in her youth to calling students of certain ethnicities rats to even getting physically violent with students. After reporting it to school administration and not being taken seriously, I invested in a dictaphone to record the stuff she would say. One day she found out I was recording and tried to rip the device out of my hands violently. I pushed her away and literally looked her dead in the eye and said, "This is all on tape, your career is over." Called the police and reported her for verbal and physical assault and provided the evidence to both the school and police. She was fired within a month. A kid in my class left a note on the desk of our pregnant teacher that said, "I hope your baby dies so I can piss on its grave." She was a great teacher and it was her first year of teaching. In 4th grade we had indoor recess one day, and one kid really wanted to go outside. He had known behavioral issues. He threw a water bottle at someone's head and a chair at the teacher. Early mid-90s, 2nd or 3rd grade, and this one kid was always picking fights with the teachers. One in particular he really didn't like. One day during passing, the teacher was standing at the top of the stairs greeting students. This kid came up behind him and hard pushed him forward and down the flight of stairs. Another kid a few years later got angry enough to pick up one of those combined desk, storage, chair in one unit, and put it across the room towards the same teacher. This teacher was super strict, a Vietnam vet. He kept a tin of peanut butter from his military rations as a memento. One student stole it one day and emptied the contents, leaving the open tin on his desk. That was the one time I saw that teacher look truly sad. Kid in my junior high school with severe behavioral problems slashed the tires of his teacher's car in the staff parking lot. Dude picked up a desk and full-on caveman threw it at the teacher. Most impressive thing I've seen someone do. Guy was toothpick skinny, but his anger turned him into Red Hulk rage strong. We had a teacher get so angry at a student he tried to blow her car up on school property while we were in school, and like 20 people saw him do it. It was loud. The charges stemmed from defendant attaching an explosive device to the door handle and detonating it on school property. In middle school there was fundraising contest, and the winning student got to pie a teacher of their choosing. Well, Corey was a little excited and slammed that pie into our math teacher's face. Broke his nose. His reaction was an immediate, "What the fuck, you little shit," in front of the entire school. Edit, for those asking. This was in Texas in the late 90s. A kid in high school threw his desk at the teacher, tried to rush him down. The teacher, after taking the hit from the desk, basically caught the kid on the charge, and WWE slammed him straight on his back onto the ground, knocking the wind out of him. Kid left in handcuffs, and I never saw him again. That was my first day being transferred to that class. It was the bad kids class. I got transferred there because I didn't do homework. Freshman year of college in my psychology class. We had one dude who would constantly sleep in class. The professor had had enough, borrowed about 5 textbooks, stood in a chair next to the kid and dropped the books on the desk next to the kid. It was loud. The sleeping kid literally fell out of his chair, freaked out, grabbed his bag, and left the lecture hall only to come back in and yell at the professor from the door. He didn't show up again for 2 more classes. Back in the mid-late 90s, my class got a teacher fired with our anger. She was an older teacher that had been teaching for decades and was used to being able to hit kids. One time she gave a girl in our class a black eye after hitting her with a ruler, so at lunchtime we marched to the principal's office while chanting "Fire Mrs. Brown! Fire Mrs. Brown!" She didn't end up coming back, and we had a few relief teachers until they got us a new one for that class. Kid a year younger than me in elementary school got pissed at the principal and keyed up her vehicle super deep all around. I've seen students and teachers fist fight a few times growing up. Well, my junior year of high school we fucked around and gave our math teacher such a hard time that she ran out of the room crying and never came back. She wasn't a new teacher either, we were just really cruel, I guess. My high school art teacher had a thing where she couldn't remember names, so we had name cards on our desks at all times. She can only remember faces, not names. I think it's Asperger's. Anyway, this one time she accidentally tried guessing this one guy's name. She called him Alejandro, but his name was Alex. For some reason this guy got so mad he got up, got in our teacher's face, and started belittling her because she guessed his name wrong. It was so sad. Some of us got up and pulled him away, but he wouldn't shut up. She started crying and had to leave for the day. So sad for her. Student screamed obscenities in my face, then threw his smartphone into the concrete, smashing it. I wasn't even upset.